Right. Attorney Diokno, it's possible, but you said it's feasible. And you have Congressman Zarate and even Congresswoman Vilma Santos saying that it's not as easy as we think. When you say it's feasible, how feasible do you mean it to be, even in terms of the timetable?
You know, previous attempts to do a people's initiative have failed because the proponents have lacked the resources and the people to really back it up. But I think your situation, the situation of ABS CBN is very different because number one, you have a whole army of celebrities behind you. Number two, you have a network that stretches throughout the whole country. And that is going to spell the difference as far as the success or failure of any people's initiative is concerned. It's really a question of numbers. You need to get 3% in every this legislative district and an overall number of 10%. So that's roughly 6.5 million registered voters. Medyo mahirap din, but it's doable, especially in the situation of ABS CBN.
Okay. Actually, the 10 million, 10%, no, which would amount to something like maybe 11, 12 million, depending on the population, sounds even more possible than the 3% per legislative district. Don't you agree, Attorney? It's because Congresswoman Vilma said, paano kung hindi umabot ng 3% ang isang lugar? Diba? What if fear is used, threats are used?
Well, yes, it will pose some difficulties on the ground. But actually, yung 10% na yun is only of the total number of registered voters, not the total population. So last election, the registered voters were roughly around 63, 64 million. Sabihin na lang natin na dagdagan niya ng konti, 65 million. So that's about 6.5 million total. The battle will really be in every legislative district because we can anticipate that there will also be people who will find obstacles to this kind of initiative.
But what about the verification process? Some lawyers also described it, that the verification process will actually take time. It's also manual. Logistically, this may take daw until 2022 even.
Well, that remains to be seen. Perhaps there are things that the proponents can do that will make it easier for the COMELEC to verify the signatures. The law does require it, and it's common sense that the signatures really have to belong to the registered voters. So talagang ko-compare nila yan dun sa the documents with the COMELEC. But I think these are obstacles that can be overcome. And the beauty of it is that it's the people themselves who are passing a law. It's perhaps time to make history.
Okay. And the money estimates it'll be at 3-4 billion pesos. Who's going to spend for that, Attorney?
Well, I'm not sure what those figures are based on. But in any event, this is provided in the Constitution. It's a basic constitutional right. So that the problem of having a budget, that's really something that government has a duty to provide because the Constitution itself provides for it. And, you know, our government has spent a lot of money on other less projects that have less benefit than this type of an exercise. This is really an exercise where the sovereignty of the people becomes reality. And that is rarely ever felt in modern times.
Another issue, Attorney Diokno, is ABS CBN, the franchise renewal, is what they say, it's a private bill. So will this even be covered, and can it be covered by a people's initiative? Secretary Harry Roque said he is going to leave it up to the Supreme Court, but you have others saying that this won't be covered by a people's initiative because it's a private bill to begin with.
I don't understand that argument. Because if Congress can pass a law, then why cannot the people pass the law when the authority of Congress comes from the people? Kaya hindi ko makakuha yung distinction na yun. If that's true, then that means that the sovereignty of the people is limited. When we all know, every constitutional professor knows, and even a law student knows that that is not possible.
Okay, but then you do think that this will be, be brought up in the Supreme Court too?
We don't know if Harry Roque says that, then maybe they have plans of questioning it. I really don't know. I don't want to put myself in their shoes.
All right. Attorney, what do you make of essentially what happened in Congress last week? Congresswoman Vilma Santos said she was quite surprised that they only turned out to be 11. She was expecting more, maybe not necessarily to win it, but expecting more votes.
Well, I was not as optimistic perhaps as Kong Vilma. Because, you know, we've seen it in the past. When the president says something, Congress follows. And I don't think there would be any deviation from that in this issue, despite the voices, the loud voices coming from the people.
How did Congress play this for you? Because the palace kept insisting that the president is now neutral. He's expected the apology of the Lopez family. He's even said the 2.6 million on advertisements to donate it to charity, and that's the statement. He's neutral. And then you have Speaker Alan Cayetano first saying that we'll give you a provisional franchise, and then suddenly there was an immediate turnaround, and then and then this happened. What was the play, you think, Attorney?
Well, if the president were really neutral, then I think he should have took back all those angry words he said about ABS CBN and even about the franchise itself. If he just keeps quiet after having said those things, that doesn't mean he's neutral.
With the People's Initiative, because clearly you were the one who brokered this idea, so to speak. You brought it out that it's even possible to do that. Will you be playing a role with this? Would you want to, for example, initiate it? How will it work? Or should you feel ABS CBN should pour in resources for this?
Well, I'm very excited about this idea. To me, it's as a lawyer, as a citizen, as a human rights defender, this is a real exercise in democracy. This is a way for the people finally to let themselves, to be able to express themselves even without having to go through the typical congressman or congresswoman whom I think a lot of us feel do not represent the interests of the people. So this is the chance of the people to say, this is what we want. And I'm very happy. I would be very happy to be part of that exercise.
All right. On that note, Attorney Chel Diokno, thank you so much, sir, for your time this morning.
Thank you as well.
All right. Stay strong, sir.